Now, the other conversation we're having this morning is about the $2 billion SINOHYDRO deal, which was started as the unprecedented barter arrangement to fix Ghana's infrastructural needs and modernize our roads. 3 years after Ghana signed the agreement with the Chinese, JoyNews is learning the government has so far only managed to access $80 million for ongoing projects. So what happened to the SINOHYDRO money and the projects it was to fund? Evan Smith has been finding out for Total Recall.
Traffic, crazy snaking traffic. As far as the eyes can see, and as you can see behind me, this is the Adenta Dodowa Road. It used to be pretty easy to drive on in the morning and in the evening, but it has become a hot spot for traffic and a great border for those who live on this stretch. There are sprawling communities coming up on this stretch. This all the way to Oyibi. You have Ashiye, and then you also have places on the stretch with upscale middle-class residential areas, which has become pretty attractive for the middle class. The reason why in the last 2 years, this road is possibly one of the most traffic-prone areas in the Greater Accra region. What people have to do in the morning is wake up as early as 3 and 4 a.m. and avoid the main road, because if you stay on the main road, it's going to take you more than 3 hours to make a stretch that would ordinarily take you 20 minutes to travel. So what they do is find alternative routes. Now, this is one of the alternative routes that those who live on this stretch, who have to, on the daily basis, deal with the crazy traffic, have resorted to. These routes, as you can see in the background, is terrible in its own nature. It's not asphalted at all. It has gullies in it. It has craters in it. But people have to bear with that. That is the only way you can dodge the traffic. And it snakes by itself through the meandering communities in the connecting routes that join the main road. And so many have had to resort to this, as you see in the background, risking their own cars, their own health, and of course, having to pump a lot of money in repairing vehicles. For those who live in this particular community and on the stretch from Adenta all the way to Oyibi and Dodowa and beyond, it has become a living hell. But this is one of the roads that was touted a few years back as one that has been approved under the SINOHYDRO Deal. It was supposed to have started years ago, but it hasn't started. The promise to get this road fixed and dualized, which was approved by Parliament as part of the first lot of the SINOHYDRO Deal, hasn't materialized. And many of the residents in this area and in this community on the stretch are still hopeful that it will happen, that the politicians will keep their promise.
It's very bad every day.
All right, so Evans Mason, who has been working on this documentary, joins me on Zoom right now. Hello, Evans. Hello, Evans. Yeah, good morning to you. So I posted this on Facebook, and a lot of the people who have come to comment are saying, why are you asking us where's the SINOHYDRO deal? You should know and tell us. I believe that is exactly what we're doing. So you answer the concerns of these people who are thinking that we're just posing a question and leaving it at that.
Yeah, I mean, so what they would, the full documentary have all the answers in this. And so on the Pulse later today, the entire 20 minutes will be played. And also later tonight at 8:30, we'll get on the playback of everything. On PM Express, we're going to have an extensive discussion on this. But to cut a long story short, it was a $2 billion deal that we signed. As we speak, as we just you have on the screen, only 80 million of that we've actually accessed. So where is the money? the money is still with the Chinese. The bulk of it is still with the Chinese. And the vice president's office, remember, this was the vice president's project. He went to China, he got the deal signed, and so his office has been in the forefront. They're taking a leadership role in this. Now, they explained to me in as part of the total recall that the arrangement is that the 10 projects were approved, 10 lots were approved under the first phase of the SINOHYDRO project. Now, under the arrangement, they explained that the Chinese will only release the funds to us once we show evidence of work actually done. So this apparently was a pay-as-you-construct arrangement. That was not the understanding we had 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago when the deal was first made public. So that is what it is. So you pay, the Chinese will pay us as we construct. What it is it's clear from that arrangement that because we haven't constructed enough, we haven't done enough work, the Chinese haven't found enough bases to release the bulk of the cash to us. It's the reason why out of the 10 lots that were approved, none is complete. None is complete. 6 are at various stages of completion. 4 haven't started at all. And that, I must emphasize, includes my own stretch, my own road, Adenta Dodowa stretch. And that stretch, I must say, Israel, in Accra currently, is the most traffic-prone road in the entire country. Anybody who wants to challenge me should do that, because I live on the stretch. I know, and I have to fight for it. I experience it on a daily basis. One of those projects that was in the first law was approved in 2018, was supposed to have been finished by now, hasn't started. And so the SINOHYDRO deal, if you ask the question where it is, where is the money? The money is still with the Chinese. We haven't done enough work to deserve to the Chinese to warrant the Chinese to release a bit more of the funds to us. And so that's where it is.
Oh, Evans, when you talk about your road, I very much empathize. I know what you're talking about. It's one of the most congested routes, because I use that every now and then. But I find this quite interesting that you're saying that according to the deal, we, government of Ghana, we're supposed to find money to finance the construction of these roads, and after they are done, that's when the Chinese will pay for it. If we had the money, why would we go to the Chinese?
So it's there are a lot of questions, I guess, that raises. So what it is the contractors who are, so let's use the Tamale interchange as an example, because that's the only SINOHYDRO funded project that is 90% almost done, right? So that project, what it is you pay as you construct. So you don't have to finish the interchange before they release the funds. So as we speak, for example, the interchange, the Tamale interchange, we have withdrawn $19 million of the SINOHYDRO money for it. So what it is that, so you start the work, you do a bit of it, and then you show evidence that I've done, say, 10% of the work. The Chinese release the money for the 10%. You do an additional 15% of the work, they'll release just the 15% to you once you've done. So definitely, somebody will have to finance the 10% before the Chinese gives you the money. It may be the contractor that must do it, because the contractor knows that the money is there. If he does the work, he gets it. So that is a tricky nature of the agreement we signed. Initially, when it was first marketed 3 years ago, it was supposed to be a barter arrangement. So we were going to pay the Chinese with bauxite, refined bauxite. Yeah. So the understanding then was that the Chinese will simply release the money, right? We'll simply give you the money. We'll simply give you the $2 billion. That's the understanding I had.
Exactly.
And you had, we thought the Chinese would simply give you the $2 billion, and then you do whatever you want to do with the $2 billion, of course, using it for the approved projects. And then you begin to pay the Chinese with the refined bauxite. Yeah. Now, the thing there, though, as we've seen, we are nowhere near getting the bauxite ready for refining to pay the Chinese. And so the Chinese are obviously not going to release the money to you when they haven't seen evidence that you can pay back. And I think that is definitely part of the difficulties that we've had. But of course, let me state that the Vice President's office emphasized that as far as they're concerned, the primary reason why this has delayed is because of the COVID-19 pandemic last year.
Really?
That
Hold on,
insist,
Evans.
Yeah.
COVID-19 comes in here too?
Yeah. I mean, the office of the Vice President explained to me as part of the work that the main reason why, one of the primary reasons why this has happened, the delay, is because of the pandemic last year, which, in their words, slowed things in China and made it a bit more difficult for the Chinese to release the funds. So that is the official position.
Okay. Thank you very much, Evans. But we're going to see the full documentary on the pulse, right?
Yes, and then also at 8:30 p.m.
All right.
Later tonight in the evening on the JoyNews channel, and then there's a discussion post that right after that on PM Express. In fact, as we speak, it's being played on the SMS.
All right. Thank you very much, Evans. And so we're looking forward to that documentary, where is the $2 billion SINOHYDRO deal. We have that coming up on the Pulse. But right now, if you're tuning into Joy FM, it's actually be airing there. But as Evans Mensah explained, later on in PM Express, we're going to have a broader conversation on that. Where is the $2 billion SINOHYDRO deal? As is indicated so far, all we've been able to withdraw is $80 million. But of course, there are some projects that are ongoing. And now we're learning that the Vice President's office is saying the reason a whole lot of this has delayed has to do with the COVID-19 pandemic. You're here on the AM show. We have a lot more coming up. Oh, yes, we have Simple Man Kante. IB has managed to pull him out from somewhere. I don't know, but IB will be here to tell us all about that. Do stay tuned in. This is the AM show.